Hey guys, hang on a second. The video hasn't actually started yet, but I wanted to give a little announcement. Today is February 2nd, 2018, and I wanted to let you know that on March 24th and 25th, 2018, I and a lot of my friends and a lot of the guys you see here in the video will be attending the Import Alliance Spring Meet in Atlanta, Georgia at the Atlanta Motorsports Speedway. I'm also going to be trying to take off March 23rd, that Friday. That way I can go ahead and drive up early because I want to be there for any pre-meets or anything happening. I know that dude in blue did a pre-meet last year that was pretty cool, and I've heard that Adam LZ has a spot reserved and that he's trying to come up for this whole event too. And so I just kind of wanted to give you a heads up. If anybody's there and wants to have a chat about STs or about Miatas, come and find me. See if you can find us. I'd love to meet any of you guys, any of the new subscribers or anything, or anyone that just happens to be out there that watches the video. I think it'd be pretty cool to actually talk to someone that I don't see here locally. So once again, March 24th and 25th is the event. I'll be trying to drive up on the 23rd, but that is Import Alliance Spring Meet at the Atlanta Motorsports Speedway in Atlanta, Georgia. I hope to see you guys out there, but anyway, let's continue on with the video. What's up guys, and welcome back. So today's kind of like a relatively larger thing that we've got to do. We're actually going to be working on the Miata. Check out the new tag. So when I bought the Miata, I originally knew that it needed a master cylinder. That's what I was told, and you could tell that it needed one, but it wasn't like an emergency thing. It only leaked a little bit every couple of months, so you just have to put a little bit in it here and there. So it wasn't of like the utmost important issue because it didn't leak that bad, like hardly at all. But now that it's gotten colder and it's really started to freeze in Alabama lately, it's started to leak a lot worse. You'd have to put some in it every few days. So I finally decide I need to stop playing around with it. That's my brakes that I'm messing with. I need to invest in a good master cylinder. So I bought a new one. Also, after I bought the Miata, the radio in it didn't work and it had like crappy speakers in it. I pulled the speakers out and realized they were OEM Nissan speakers, and then it looked like it had Alpines in the back, but when I pulled the covers off, it was just cheap power-based speakers. And none of them worked. They were all blown. So I pulled all those out, and I've been pretty much riding around in silence. I just fixed this the other day. Right here, all of this was glued. And the speaker wasn't even screwed in. It was glued around this edge. And so I grinded all of that off, grinded it down, and I painted everything. Just because it looked nasty. It was still red, because if you didn't know, this car was not originally brown, it was originally red, which you can tell here and there. What I noticed is either somebody tried to put subwoofers in the speaker holes in the door, or they tried to put bigger speakers or something, but they cut slits every so often around the door, and they beat in the edges. So you can't mount anything there, which made things a lot more difficult replacing a speaker. So what I did while I was at work, I took some scrap metal, I measured some stuff out, and I started cutting. So I cut this plate out at work big enough to fit over the hole. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna attach this completely over the hole. Then what I'm gonna do is going to cut a hole the size of the speaker in this and use this as a new mounting bracket. Also, remember that I said that I had speakers in the back too that were power based. Well, after further research, I realized that Miatas don't have speakers in the back. They only have the two door speakers, but mine has speakers in the back deck. So I pulled those speakers out. I realized that somebody has legitimately just cut holes in the back deck of the car. There's one of the crappy speakers that's still in there. Somebody has just cut holes in the back of the car. The holes are there, might as well use them to my advantage. Also, since I didn't have a radio, I decided to go ahead and install a radio bypass. That way, I got that for free, it works, and it keeps me from having to buy an actual radio. If you don't know what that does, all I have to do is wire that into the radio harness. I have RCA cables coming out of there into an aux cord, and with that I can just listen to my phone directly without having to have an actual radio. I know a lot of people do that in their track cars or whatever, But I figured I hardly listen to the radio anyways, so why not just put that in there for the time being until I decide to actually buy a radio if I were to purchase like a sub or anything to put in this car, which I doubt I will because it doesn't really need it. I already have a sound system in that car, so I don't really see the use in having it in this car. Then we have our speakers. Rockford Fosgate 6.5-inch speakers. These are the Prime series. They are R165X3. Just the Prime series. They're not punch or anything. They're nothing special. They were just the best seller on Amazon. I think they were about $38 for a set of 2. It's gonna be all that I really need for the Miata for the time being, unless for some odd reason I decided to go some big all-out audio build. It's actually really not a bad looking speaker for the Prime series. In my Focus, I have a Rockford Fosgate Punch P3D410 in my car. So I've pretty much just used the Punch series. I've never used the more basic Prime series. But it's actually a pretty good looking speaker in my opinion. It's got a pretty big magnet on it. I think it'll look pretty good in the car. Now we've got, in Zach's hands, we've got the rings cut that will fit, that we're gonna use as a bracket. So we'll mount the bracket to the speaker, then we'll mount the speaker in the door with the bracket on it. So now what I'm doing is I'm measuring out what I need to cut out for here to go ahead and do everything that I need to do in order to get that speaker in here. Hopefully it'll work. It looks like we're gonna have enough room for it to work, but maybe not, we'll see. But other than that, yeah. Just finished cutting out the holes. It took a while. Got that cut out, so I'm gonna kind of grind it down, flatten it out. I'll put a coat of paint on it. The brackets that I made for the front doors, I wire brushed and got them all etched up, and I just sprayed them black. So I'm gonna let them dry. Then I'm gonna attach the speakers to them, and then I'm gonna put them in the door.
Fuse or whatever you're looking at, you're like,
just go to McDonald's.
This thing's expensive, and you're talking about flipping a car for like.
Oh no, roll it back up, roll it up, roll it up, roll it up.
Did you give up, Joe?
No, the window did.
No, Joe?
That was like 30 minutes right there. So yeah, I gave up.
Alright.
Zach, I'm gonna keep this.
Alright, I just wired in that next speaker. It's in the door again. I mean, it looks kind of crappy, but it's temporary until I make the new door panels that go all the way across the door. Then I'll just mount the speaker into that. But it doesn't look too bad for right now. Then got the speakers in here. They're 4 6.5s. That sounds a lot better than I thought it was gonna sound. I wish the brackets turned out a little bit better. They didn't exactly turn out how I wanted them to turn out, but for the purpose that I needed them to serve, they're fine. Like, they're in there, they're not going anywhere. Yet don't mind all that. That's, yeah, this black and that's for a later video. So that's going away. What I'm gonna do is, instead of making buying more cardboard door panels, I'm gonna get like some plastic acrylic or some scrap metal from work and make new door panels. And instead of having it 2 pieces, I'm gonna go all the way around right there and then just cut a 6-inch hole and mount these directly in there so that you just see this cover right here sticking out, and then let that be done. That way I do away with this bracket and not dealing with that hole or anything anymore. And then we'll be done with that, and it'll look clean. So yeah, but that's that. I still have to install the master cylinder, but I'm gonna do that tomorrow. So I'm gonna go ahead and switch over to tomorrow, where you can see me install the master cylinder. Here we are next day. So first I'm gonna pop the hood and show you what's wrong with my brake cylinder now. You can obviously see that it's leaking, and it's leaked onto the paint and just corroded it. So I'm gonna have to remove that and then fix it. Alright, so that's where this video is going to end. So over the past 2 days I have installed all new speakers, which all of that is hardwired, by the way. The factory harness was all jacked up, so all of the speakers were all hardwired together. Installed the new master cylinder. The brakes feel great. When I went to bleed the rear brakes, the caliper, I guess just because of age, with the bleeder valve was like seized. And I went to open it and it just completely snapped off the caliper. It's still sealed, like it's not leaking at all, but I'm definitely not opening it anytime soon. So I'm gonna have to get a new caliper at some point for the rear. I was gonna make a complete Miata update in this video, but it ended up being just a little bit too long, longer than I wanted it to be. So I'm just gonna make a complete Miata update in a completely different video. So be on the lookout for that coming out. If you happen to like this video though, go ahead and click the like button below, or if you didn't like it, go ahead and click the dislike button and tell me why you didn't like it. I will take constructive criticism, but if you're just a complete jerk, I'm not gonna listen to you. If you wanna see more videos on the Miata, or if you wanna see more videos on the Focus ST, be sure to click the subscribe button. But other than that, I hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you next time. Peace out.